All right, just sit back and get ready to have the most fun you ever had with an electronic device.
Hi, everybody. Welcome out to the Get On With It Sports Show. It is Wednesday, April the 24th, 2024. Jersey Johnny coming at you. And with me, as always, is none other than Mr. Harry Lug Nutz. And we're missing RadioPete. Where did he go?
He went back into the darkness.
He was just there a minute ago.
He was. He'll be back.
He'll be back. He's in and out. He's car phone Pete today. He's not RadioPete.
Oh, that's right.
He's out and about on the road fixing a family problem. But he'll be with us presently in any event.
All right.
So how are you this fine evening, sir?
You know, just okay, I guess. Yankees we're up 2-0. Mm-hmm. They can't seem to hit the ball anymore, but I got to see LeBron complain about the referees after pushing off for his final shot.
That's always fun.
It's great. It's good.
Yeah.
Knicks won, Nuggets won, big comebacks. Got to see Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid act like little whiny bastards. It was fantastic.
Gotta love it. Gotta love all of that. More importantly, I got to ask you, how did the release party go on Saturday?
You know, it went very well. Thank you to anyone who, I don't know how much crossover there is between this and people who were at the Log Show, but thanks for coming out. We had
Awesome.
probably about 150 people there, I think, and good time was had by all.
That's an awesome hat.
Thank you.
Definitely got to get me one of those.
Yes. Anybody interested in the hat? Let me know. We'll get you one.
We will. You can.
Maybe we'll add it in the show notes as soon as our podcasts are actually linked again with the various streaming networks.
Exactly. There's been an issue with the connectivity in Spreaker, but they were all there. And then when we uploaded the last show, it deferred back to December, I think.
Not good. Is it fixed yet? No,
it's not. They're working on it. It should be. They promised it would be done sometime this week, but it's an issue. It's an issue on their end. It's nothing that we did. So
maybe we need to find another.
No, they're pretty good actually. They're better than the last one we had. Much like night and day better than the last one we had. We had problems all the time with that one, but it should be fine. If it happens again, then maybe we could look. But it shouldn't be an issue. It's something that's it's something with ours, but it's not our fault. It's their fault. So they're fixing it. They're working on it. It'll be done. But in any event, we'll put the link on the Facebook page, and you can get to it. Was it Log Band on
my link? It's at Log Noise on Instagram. Is the
at
best
Log
way.
Noise on Instagram is the best way to get it.
I only people over the age of 65 use Facebook anymore. I don't even know what we're on, but you can find us. You just go to Instagram at Log Noise. On Instagram, and I think it's Log Co on Facebook.
It's Log Co on Facebook, exactly. In fact, we have them right there. It's at Log Noise on Instagram, and at Log, and it's just Log Co on Facebook. Yes,
there you go,
and there you have it.
Yes,
so, cool. All right. Well, I do appreciate the fact that you had a great night. For your release party.
It was good. We covered it an obscure 80s song called Mexican Radio by Wall of Voodoo.
That's a great song.
It is a great song.
Whoa, radio.
I'm on a whoa radio.
Mm-hmm.
Radio.
There you go.
Speaking of RadioPete is still lost in the wilderness, but let's begin.
Let us begin. Let's start the memes without him.
I always forget about the memes.
We gotta get going on those, and then we're gonna go right into this is our draft show. This is our NFL. This is our annual draft show, the night before the draft every year,
where we prove we know just as little about what's actually going to happen as the so-called experts,
as the experts that get paid to do this. Exactly.
Right. We only do one version of our draft predictions, not 16 and a half like Mel Kiper.
No, Mel Kiper. I mean, all of them, they do more than that. I think they have just about every possible combination so they can say, hey, I was right.
Right.
On one of them. Right.
That's right.
Exactly. So let's get going to memes. Tonight's first one is right here. And it's And thank you, Captain Obvious, is what I have to say for this particular meme. Here we go.
Oh, I didn't know Captain Obvious was still around.
Here we go. Boeing 777 will struggle to maintain altitude once the fuel tanks are empty.
Yeah, I mean, for a while. Yeah, I mean, it'll struggle after they're empty, but it might take a little while.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I hate it. Don't you hate it when that happens? When your plane can't maintain altitude without fuel. I mean, it's just
without an operating engine. Yeah,
that's amazing. Well,
I'm glad
technology fixed that yet.
Glad somebody's figured this out. Glad somebody's figured it out.
It's amazing.
All right, what's the next one?
Next is sign on the side of a building here, or side of a trail or whatever. Please don't stop for pedestrians if they jaywalk.
It looks like the back of a bus.
Back of a bus. Yeah, let them learn a lesson.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And then there's a person there with tire marks on their face.
That's exactly right.
Yeah. This isn't so much of a meme. This is just, I think somebody made this up, and it's really, really funny.
It's pretty good.
Maybe it's a personal trailer or something, or a delivery truck.
It's from Virginia. We know that. And license plate's locked up.
Yes. And then there's no spelling errors. And that's congratulations, Virginia.
Very good, Virginia. Very good. Very well done. Well done. Yeah.
All right.
Moving on to the next one, we have Creation Organic Fruitful Flush Iranian Poop Enforcer.
I love the Iranian Poop Enforcer. He was one of my favorite wrestlers in the 80s. Yeah, absolutely. He had the curved boots and the
boots on the bottom, right?
The waxed mustache. Yeah, he was great. It's made with Iranian golden prunes, soaked and sprouted in alkaline water.
Alkaline water, exactly.
Well, if there's this is definitely where Whole Foods and the Iranian Poop Enforcer join forces to bring you. It looks like it's sort of it's like a jar of.
It's a jar. It's a jar of whatever this Iranian Poop Enforcer actually is.
Golden prunes.
Golden, it's Iranian golden prunes soaked and sprouted in alkaline water. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ancient Iranian digestive aid and natural laxative. Eat before you sleep. Wake up after you shit the bed. Yeah. And as a snack when you are feeling backed up.
Hey, at least it's all natural.
All natural Iranian Poop Enforcer.
That's right.
Right. You guys didn't see it, but Radio Pete actually did pop back on the show and is gone while this meme was up. So
he may have had too much Iranian Poop Enforcer.
I think he saw it, realized what he had to do, and he bounced right out. So there you go.
Get On With It podcast, brought to you by the Fruitful Flush Iranian Poop Enforcer.
Exactly.
A little backed up. It's nothing like an Iranian Poop Enforcer to help you get through the day.
Nothing like that good old Iranian Poop Enforcer.
All right, what's next?
All right. Moving on to the next one, we have and he's back. There he is again. Are you there?
It doesn't matter.
I think he's there.
We'll get through the memes. Hopefully he'll be around.
At some point there. Well, I mean, he can talk. I think he can talk. Pete, can you talk?
Next.
Now we can talk. Anyway, moving on to the next one. Brand new pizza place in town. Feces Pizza.
Next.
Feces Pizza. I tell you, I mean, that pizza must taste like
fetches. Well, a lot of poop humor tonight.
Yeah. Feces Pizza. Well, they went hand in hand, if you will, right?
I guess. I don't know. The Poop Enforcer will not approve of this.
The Poop Enforcer will not approve of Feces Pizza, exactly. Or you eat the Poop Enforcer and make the Feces Pizza.
Yeah, too much.
I figured.
Too far. Too much.
Went too far on that one?
Next. I'm looking for. I'm guessing it's going to be some sort of weird Asian delicacy next.
No, there's not. It's not. All right. And Pete's gone again. You gotta love it. Anyway, next one is Brick City Market and Deli. They have beer, pizza, subs, wings, fingers, and groceries.
That's right. Yeah. what I like is that what bothers me most about this, okay, is that the wings is kind of centered over the one window, but then the subs is not. And then the fingers and groceries are kind of centered in the brick. This is what I noticed. If they just shifted beer pizza subs over, it would be a lot better. But yeah,
It'd be a lot better.
Yeah.
I wonder how much fingers go for these days.
Well, it depends. It depends. I mean, sometimes people just need a good fingering, you know?
Sometimes you just need a good finger. There you go. Gotta love it.
All right.
And to wrap it up, our last one of the evening: squirt, wipe, and go.
If only. That sounds like my perfect date.
I was going to say it needs no more conversation.
This is what I have on Hinge. What are you looking for? Squirt,
wipe, and go.
I'm talking about her, not me.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
But in any event, squirt, wipe, and go. And that car is really happy.
Of course it's happy.
It's
got a little glimmer in its eye. The car is actually squirting.
The car is squirting. There you go. Anyway, all right. Those are the memes for tonight. Hey, Pete. There you are. How you doing there, Pete?
Car phone Pete.
Don't draft people, draft beer. I like that. That's good. I like that. So how's the trip out to wherever it is you're running to? Or how's your finger? I'm actually liking this.
All right, let's start.
Anyway.
Have we started? Are we recording?
We are.
We've been live.
We have people watching, and we're rolling. So
I'm sorry. I apologize to everybody.
We apologize. Anyway, Pete will take care of his technical voice difficulties because he's actually on the show right now, but it works for us. Anyway, tonight is our draft show. Tonight is our annual draft show. We are going to talk about the NFL draft, and I figured we'd kick it off with an NFL draft history, just a quickie. Pete can answer this question in semaphore if he'd like, but in any event, we will kick it off that way. So let's throw that up there. All right, NFL draft history, just a quickie. Here we go. I got to ask both of you. We'll start with Harry, unless Pete actually has audio. Which draft would you redo for the? I think he's there. Are you there, Pete?
Yeah, there we go.
There you
go.
All right.
So don't ask me what's going on, but it's working. So
sounds like you're being arrested.
I think so.
That's just your seatbelt making noise.
There you go. All right, I like it. Let's go with the draft. Just a quickie. We'll start with Pete. Because Pete hasn't talked yet. Which draft would you redo for the Jets?
Right. 84.
Hold on. Would you, of these two, not just any of these two, would you redo the 1983 draft where the Jets took Ken O'Brien at 24?
Oh yeah, that's the one.
And Dan Marino went 27 to Miami? Or would Or would you redo the 1991 draft where they took Rob Moore, the wide receiver, in the 1990 supplemental, lost their first pick, and then Brett Favre went 6th in the second round, 33 overall, and the Jets wound up a pick later with Browning Nagel.
Well, they wound up with Favre in the end. So what are you complaining about?
Yeah, no, I take Moreno.
The 83 draft. You go.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, Ken O'Brien and Dan Marino had the same amount of Super Bowl rings.
You know,
well,
I did check that once. You're all right. All right, Harry.
Yes.
Which draft would you redo for the Giants?
Oh, definitely the one where they took Daniel Jones.
No, of these two. I'm giving you two. Would you redo the 2018 draft where they took Barkley at 2 and Josh Allen went to Buffalo at 7? Or would you redo the 1979 draft where Phil Simms got picked at 7th overall and Joe Montana went the last pick in the 3rd round at 82?
Well, that's a no-brainer. I would obviously want to have Joe Montana.
You would redo the 79 draft, all right?
Yeah. Although, hey, look, Phil Sims wasn't that bad.
Would Montana do what he did in San Francisco in the Giants system, though?
Well, that's the question, right?
Well, let's talk about that. So in '86, the Giants system was pretty diverse. That was Sims' best year. They had a pretty good passing game. Yeah, I think Joe Montana. Imagine Joe Montana with Mark Bavaro. He didn't have Roger Craig. He didn't have Jerry Rice. But he would not have done what he did in San Francisco. But I think with the Giants defense and with the Giants teams, look, the '86 team with Joe Montana is a better team than Phil Sims. So Phil Sims had a wonderful Super Bowl. But yeah, I think Montana. He would not have done what he did in San Francisco, but he probably would. The Giants would have been way more consistent, and I think they would have. I think they probably would have won another Super Bowl with Montana.
Fair enough. All right, that makes sense.
Yeah, he would have been on good teams regardless.
Yeah, he wouldn't be considered.
He maybe would have done exactly the same thing, but he would have flourished and he would have won. Yeah.
And he would have gone down as an absolute, New York sports hero.
There are reports that
he's coming back this year.
He's coming back right now. That there were several other teams that would have picked Phil Sims in the first round if the Giants hadn't taken him at 7.
Look, I always say this: Phil Sims is probably the second best quarterback in the history of the New York Giants. It's because the Giants have historically not had great quarterbacks. They've had good. We had Fred Tarkenton for 6-7 years, never won really in the playoffs. Eli Manning, you have to say, is the best Giants quarterback of all time. Mm-hmm. Back in the day when they had leather helmets, we had some decent quarterbacks, and we had Frank Gifford or whoever the fuck was,
Charlie Connerly was
Charlie Connerly and
Wyatt Tittle and Wyatt Tittle.
But again, it's like, yeah, Wyatt Tittle's older than Babe Ruth, so I'm just like, it's just like, come on.
Wyatt Tittle was actually that picture of Wyatt Tittle bleeding, kneeling in the end zone. Right. He was only in his late 30s.
I know.
My
point being is that
looked older, but
Joe Montana would be the Giants' best quarterback of all time. How do you?
Well, I agree with you on the consistency part, right? And to a point on it as well. But as far as '86 goes, he couldn't have done much better than Sims did because they went 14-2 that season.
Right, and he had
they were 15-1 or a perfect year.
Sims had maybe the perfect Super Bowl as a quarterback.
Right, exactly. And would Montana have had as good a Super Bowl?
I think he still would have won, and I think he would have had I think he probably would have still been around. I think he would have had better years before that and better years after that. I think that in 87, 88, 89, I think the Giants would have had way more consistency. I think Parcells would have stuck around longer, and I think they would have won a few more Super Bowls.
And Montana, side note, might have had a longer career because he wouldn't have had to go up against Leonard Marshall, who his head is still ringing from that hit back in '91.
Right. Well, he would have had to gone up against Charles Haley, but yeah.
Well, that's true. So,
anyway,
all right, cool. Well, there you go. That's NFL draft history. Just a quickie. There you go. All right, let's get into the draft. First, let's talk about some things.
Sorry, I missed all that. Don't rehash it, but every time I go through a low data zone, you guys both sound like Hubert.
Well, as long as we don't sound like Hubert to everybody that's watching.
It's absolutely hilarious.
There you go.
All right, sorry, go ahead.
I'm glad something's entertaining.
That's very good. At least somebody's entertained tonight.
You guys are like, it's hilarious.
I actually like that. If you can record that, hopefully you saved it on your phone. You can play it later for us. Anyway, all right. Let's.
What about the draft? Tell us about the draft.
Let's get into the draft. All right. Let's start with other teams. Let's start first of all. I mean, it's we'll put up our picks in a little bit, but it's a foregone conclusion that we all pretty much are convinced that Caleb Williams is going to Chicago with the number 1 overall pick. Right? How do we?
Are we?
I am.
Are we all? Are you think about that?
Well, answer the question. Are you? Because we are.
Well, I guess we'll find out when we reveal our picks.
Well,
wait, are those your picks, scrawling across the bottom of the screen?
No, it just says NFL draft predictions. It's the same.
Oh, okay.
All right, so maybe not all of us are convinced Caleb Williams going first. 99.9% of the sports community believes that Pete will be a contrarian, and
He's
wrong.
He's picking Joe Alt to go number 1 overall.
Yeah, might not be wrong with that.
That's true too, actually. In any event, there's been draft busts. There's been,
of course,
first overall picks that have just been complete busts. Do we think that Caleb Williams will actually, bring Chicago out of the basement, if you will, and actually?
Here's what Caleb Williams is going for him, is that Chicago also has a pick, I believe, at 9?
Something like that, yeah.
9, yeah.
The 1 and 9. They have a couple pretty good Pro Bowl veteran receivers. They've invested in their offensive line. Their defense isn't bad. I think if he does go there, he'll be put in a situation where he could have success out of the gate. And I don't think he'll be a bust. I'm not sure he's going to be, Patrick Mahomes, but he has the tools to really, really be a great quarterback. The one question I have with him is he humble enough to come into this and put the work in and learn what it takes to become an NFL quarterback? And can he keep himself healthy?
Right.
We'll see.
I would say that unless the Bears just don't do anything to surround him with talented players and things that he needs, like, an offensive line to protect him and some of the things that they already have, like wide receivers. If you're being drafted number 1 and you don't win a Super Bowl, you're at least in part a bust.
Well,
in my book.
Not right
away. I don't mean right away. When it's all said and done, if you're supposed to be the savior of the franchise and you don't win one, you're kind of a bust.
Now, let me ask you a question, just hypothetically speaking.
That doesn't mean he won't be successful. And that doesn't mean that Chicago fans will love him, even if he doesn't quite get there. Or maybe gets there, and if he gets there, I think then he's not a bust. But if he gets there and doesn't win one, I think, and he's successful, they can still love him. But in my book, if you're the number 1 pick in the draft and you don't get there, then unless the team abandons you and doesn't help you, then you're a bust. If they're giving you the tools.
Okay. How many number 1 draft picks do you think have won a Super Bowl in the history of the NFL?
I don't know. 4.
No, more than that.
So
you say 4. So most have been a bust then.
Well, no, because how many teams haven't really done the right thing?
Too many qualifiers now. With
I'm going to say 4.
18.
Yes.
18 first round draft picks have won a Super Bowl.
A total.
Sorry, number 1.
Yeah,
number 1 quarterback picks have won a Super Bowl.
Not quarterbacks. A total of 18 number 1 overall picks in the NFL draft have won a Super Bowl.
Okay.
The first,
how many of them were quarterbacks?
I don't know. The first was Paul Hornung.
Quarterback.
Yeah, Paul Hornung was a running back.
Oh, running back. Okay.
Okay, so let's look at the list of number 1 overall picks. Okay, I'll start in. I'm gonna go. Chuck. So 1949, Chuck Bednarik. Okay, he won 2. All right. 1945, Charlie Trippi won a Super Bowl or a championship. Okay,
he was a kicker, right?
I don't know. Doesn't matter. No, he wasn't. He was a halfback. Chuck Bednarik was a linebacker. All right. So George Shaw, 1955, quarterback out of Oregon, was an NFL champion for the Baltimore Colts. Okay. Paul Hornung, was a Super Bowl champion. He was the first Super Bowl champion. So now we're in the Super Bowl era. So the first person, number 1 pick overall to win it in the Super Bowl ever, Paul Hornung. Okay.
Okay.
Billy Cannon, a halfback who went to the Los Angeles Rams. He was a champion 3 times. Okay. Bubba Smith, 1967, Michigan State, Baltimore Colts. We all know him. Super Bowl champion in Super Bowl 5. So we're in the 5th Super Bowl, and already we have 3 number 1 picks who have won a championship. Okay.
There you
go. Now we're getting into Terry Bradshaw was a number 1 pick in 1970. I think he won a few Super Bowls.
I heard that.
1971, Jim Plunkett. He won a Super Bowl. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So that's 2 QBs, right?
1973, John Matuzak, defensive end, won a Super Bowl. Okay.
Won a couple Super Bowls.
1974, Ed Jones, Dallas Cowboys. He only.
I heard he was too tall.
He was. He only won 1 Super Bowl, and I knew you were going to say that dumb fucking joke. Okay. 1970.
I didn't make the nickname for him.
Yeah, we just could have left it alone.
I know.
All right. Now we go a while. Okay, we got Billy Sims. Was he a bust? Earl Campbell. Was he a bust? George Rogers. Was he a bust?
But they're not quarterbacks.
Okay. You said number 1 picks. I'm telling. Okay. Here's another. Here's.
I meant quarterbacks.
All right. Well, you have to.
We want Caleb Williams as a quarterback.
I don't care.
So maybe I didn't clarify. If you're the number 1 pick and you're a quarterback and you don't at least get to the Super Bowl, you're something of a bust.
All right. John Elway was the number 1 pick. He went to the Super Bowl many times and won a few. Bruce Smith, not a quarterback, but won one. Quarterback, Troy Aikman, number 1 pick, 1989. Right? Won a Super Bowl.
Won a Super Bowl.
Right.
Okay. Jeff George, no Super Bowl.
No Super Bowl.
Drew Bledsoe, Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, but is he though?
All righty.
He has a ring, but he did dick to win it.
I know. Was he a bust? Was he a bust?
He never won one.
He did.
He got hurt. Brady. He got hurt. He got one of the picks.
All right. So does Phil Simms have 1 or 2 Super Bowl rings?
Phil Simms.
Well, he has 2, right?
Yeah.
Right.
He owns 2.
I will say that he has 2, and there's only one reason I'm going to say that he has 2 is because the way that he played that entire season, he got them to the Super Bowl.
Not really, but anyway.
Yeah, he was a big part of the reason they were there.
1998, Peyton Manning.
Yeah, he was.
I don't think he was a bust. Now we're getting into some bust territory.
Well, no, Manning won 2.
He won 2.
Well, Manning won 1, and his defense won another.
Well, okay.
But he's got 2.
But even if he didn't win a Super Bowl, I don't think I would consider Peyton Manning a bust.
No.
Okay. Tim Couch, 1999. Bust.
Bust.
Okay.
Bust.
Michael Vick, 2001. Cunt. Next. Carson Palmer.
You said bust wrong.
Did you just rearrange the letters in bust to come up with that?
Yeah. Fucking should still be in jail. 2002, David Carr. Bust. 2003.
Whoa. David Carr won a Super Bowl, dude.
I know, but I still think he's a bust.
He won a Super Bowl the same way Drew Bledsoe won a Super Bowl.
I know he won a Super Bowl.
No, he has a ring. He didn't win shit.
All right. Carson Palmer.
Did he even
quarterback, number 1 pick. Is he a bust?
I would not say Carson Palmer's a bust.
Eli Manning, number 1 pick. Was he a bust?
Not at all. He won 2
Alex
Super Bowls.
Smith never won a Super Bowl. Was he a bust?
No, I'd say no.
All right. Jamarcus Russell.
Is a bust.
Okay.
Okay, that's a bust.
Matthew Stafford. Not a bust.
Not a bust.
Now here's Pete's favorite. 2010. Out of the University of Oklahoma. Sam Darnold Jacob Bradford.
Book's still open on him.
Yeah, kind of.
Well, no, not really.
He was the Rookie of the Year in 2010. Okay, now here's
Sam
where it
Bradford,
gets interesting.
Sam Darnold Bradford was Rookie of the Year in 2010.
Yeah. So 2011, Cam Newton. I don't think a bust.
Well, he got there.
He got there.
He got there. He didn't win, but he got there.
Okay. Andrew Luck never got there. Was he a bust?
I wouldn't say bust, disappointment to a point, but
he got beat.
I think you have to take the injuries. You know, his career got cut short.
Yeah, he was put in a situation.
He got the shit beat out of him for like 8 years, and
right. Yeah, that's where I'm going with the disappointment.
Let's keep going. Jameis Winston, bust.
In other words, that's a case. Andrew Luck is a case where the team did not do enough for him. You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree.
They never protected him. So
I wouldn't call him a bust. Jameis Winston.
No. What he did.
Never won a Super Bowl. Was in one Pro Bowl. I think he's kind of a bust.
He's kind of a bust considering.
Yeah. I wouldn't put him in the same bust category as like a Tim Couch, but
no,
Jamarcus Russell, but
right.
How
about Jared Goff? I would say not a bust, but has not been to a Super Bowl.
Not a bust. I wouldn't.
Yeah, it's still playing though, so book's still open.
Yeah. Okay. Baker Mayfield.
Mm-hmm.
Still an opportunity. Kyler Murray. Joe Burrow. Trevor Lawrence. So Bryce Young. So my point being is that there's more success stories with first round picks than there are busts. We think of the busts a lot because they happen. But I think I think that historically, if you look at the number one picks in the NFL draft, number one overall, quarterbacks or otherwise, I think the vast majority of them have had a successful NFL career. Maybe not legendary, maybe not Hall of Fame, maybe not championship, but successful.
All right, but I'm not saying they're in Jamarcus Russell territory if they never win.
Right.
They can have success, but if you're number one in the draft and you're a quarterback, if you don't even at least get there and the team hasn't abandoned you or has given you talent around you, then you're kind of a bust.
So Jared Goff's a bust so far.
Didn't he get to the Super Bowl?
He got to one Super Bowl, yeah.
Okay, so it's just getting there.
He's
just getting there. Okay. So Cam Newton's not a bust. So most of them aren't busts then.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
All right, so let's
and they're not total. I'm not saying they're total busts. I'm just saying that's why they were drafted to get there.
What I'm saying is that historically, the number one picks have had pretty good careers.
Let's quantify it right to Chicago for a second, right? Let's talk about Chicago. Just Chicago, let's talk about. Since 1970, since 1970, the Bears have drafted 6 first-round quarterbacks. Not overall, number one overall, but first round. They've drafted a quarterback in the first round 6 times since 1970. And I'm going to go backwards. Justin Fields. Tell me bust or not.
Right. The verdict's still out. I think
he's got a long
year ahead. Yeah.
Drafted him 11th overall. It was 2021. 2017.
Team's given up on him.
2017, Mitch Trubisky. They drafted. Of course, they drafted
dumb. That was horrible.
They could have had Patrick Mahomes.
That's Tim Couch territory.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. They drafted him the highest of all 6 of these.
Yeah,
they drafted
we
him
all remember.
number 2. Right.
We all remember.
Well, in case there's somebody out there listening that doesn't remember.
I don't remember, but I don't care.
All right.
He was drafted. He's a bust.
In 2003, they drafted Rex Grossman.
Yeah, who I don't even know what was he actually a football player or was he like the weekend weatherman on?
They drafted him number 22 overall.
Okay, who's worse, Rex Grossman or Mitch Trubisky?
Well, that's not. Well, probably Trubisky, but
that's a toss-up. Anyway,
right.
22 that's too far down the list to be
next,
considering that they're going to lead you to the promised land.
In 1999, they drafted Cade McNown.
Yeah, not good.
12th overall. All right. In 1987, they drafted San Diego Chargers or LA Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh at quarterback. 26th overall. He was the lowest of the first round quarterback drafted by the Bears.
Yeah, but he ran like lightning and passed like thunder.
There you go.
Unless the song lied to us.
But he had to go. He basically had to compete when he got drafted with the current quarterback, who was the number 5 pick overall in 1982 of the Bears, and that was, of course, Jim McMahon.
Which was surprising that McMahon was that high of a pick, because by Pete's rules, McMahon's a success story, and Dan Marino is a failure.
Yeah, that's true, Pete. If you look at it like that, Jim McMahon is a success story. Jim McMahon is a better quarterback than Dan Marino, by what you know.
Well, no, I didn't say better.
Just I think where you were going for was the fact that it's not. You want to use the word bust more like in the term of a disappointment if they're drafted first.
And I agree.
Overall,
I agree with that with a lot of first round picks. My point, and I just proved it, I think, through mathematics and reason, is that historically, number one picks in the NFL have overwhelmingly had successful NFL careers.
Okay, so to me, I think you're adding a little fuel to my fire, because I said number ones who are quarterbacks who don't at least get there, they're anomalies.
Yeah. Okay.
So that, again, it makes them a partial bust, not a complete bust, but a partial bust.
Okay. I hear you. All right. Fair enough. All right.
We spent a lot of time on that. I'm not saying anything else the rest of the show. All I said was, if you go number one as a quarterback and you don't win one, you're kind of a bust. And 40 minutes later.
All right. So the
it's a perspective.
It is. So the Bears are picking first. Whatchamacallit? Washington is picking second.
All right.
We don't have to get into what our picks are or anything like that.
No. I'm just saying. I'm going to go inside. I'm home now. I'm going to go inside.
Oh, cool.
So,
all right.
Talk amongst yourselves for a second.
You got it.
Now you can't trash me while I can't hear you.
So, John, you have Caleb Williams going first, right?
We both have Caleb Williams going first.
Who do you have going second to the Washington football team? What are they called now? Commanders. The Commodores.
The Commodores, yeah.
Who do you have
I actually have Jaden Daniels going second.
Yeah. I think most people have either Drake May or Jaden Daniels going second. Mm-hmm. Here's one thing I do want to talk about while Pete's transitioning. What do people see in Drake May? There's a lot of quarterbacks on here that I scratch my head at. And the three that I don't understand being so coveted are Drake May, and then I don't know how some people have JJ McCarthy in the top 10. I just don't.
I honestly think, me personally, I personally think the best quarterback of this whole entire draft class is Jaden Daniels. I think.
So do I. I agree.
Over Caleb Williams.
I agree. And you know who I think is going to be the second best? Some people have him going in the third round.
Joe Alt.
Bo Nix. And Michael Penna. I don't know how these guys have slid so far down.
Because they're Bo Nix, because he's 84?
Well, he's 24 years old. Good. That's a good thing, right?
I know that.
You get him on a rookie contract for the best years of his career.
I know.
I don't know.
I don't get it either. But I personally think Jaden Daniels is the best quarterback.
So Pete, who do you have in your top three? It doesn't matter what order. Who are your top three picks? No, you can't.
He's still setting up. We'll get back to him. But
OnlyFans.
I have whatchamacallit? The Patriots are drafting third. Now, a lot of mock drafts have the Vikings trading up with the Patriots. Now they're going to have to trade. They're going to have to give them a lot. And I'll tell you why. Right. Patriots need a quarterback.
And wouldn't somebody like Jaden Daniels, wouldn't that just make the ultimate statement for the Patriots? After all of these years, it's a new era. The Belichick era is over. And we're going to go with possibly the most dynamic quarterback available. Mm-hmm. We're not going to go with a pocket passer. We're not going to go with a game manager of any sorts. We're going to go with some guy who might be able to ignite an offense that has been pretty bad for the last few years.
Yeah, agreed. I actually have Drake May going to them.
Right.
Either way, no matter, even if they do make a trade with whoever they make a trade for, if Caleb Williams is off the board at 1 and Jaden Daniels is off the board at 2, I have Drake May going 3.
Yeah, I think most people do.
If for some reason,
I think most people do. I think that's the consensus for the top 3.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Let's and there he's back, and he's in the bunker.
All right, who do you have in your top 3, Pete?
Here, I have Caleb Williams going to the Bears.
Just the top 3.
I have Jaden Daniels going to the Commandos.
All right, you guys are in agreement there.
Mm-hmm.
And I have J.J. McCarthy going to the Pats. Johnny, did I hear you say you think they're trading down?
No. Every mock draft I've seen, not every, a lot of mock drafts I've seen have the Pats trading down and the Vikings trading up. I don't buy it. I think the Pats are standing pat, no pun intended, and picking a quarterback. They need a quarterback. Who are they getting if they trade down to where the Vikings are? They're. I mean, yeah, maybe they trade back and they pick up Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix, or somebody that's still around at that point. But I don't buy it. I think they're going to stand pat. They're going to pick 3 and they're going to take Drake May. That's assuming Jaden Daniels is off the board at 2, which I really believe the Washington is going to get Jaden Daniels.
I think Washington's going to take Drake May. I think you're going to be surprised. I think there's some new ownership in there as well. I think we'll see though. We'll see. Here's my question to you, Pete, because we were talking about this while you were crawling into the bunker. If somebody picks JJ, this is my humble opinion. If somebody wastes a top 3 pick on JJ McCarthy, they're fucking idiots. Mm-hmm. I just don't understand the appeal of this guy that high in the draft.
I don't find it either. I'm of your mindset too. If the Giants are going at 6 and they're not trading back and they're going to pick somebody, we'll get to who I have them picking. But if they're going quarterback and JJ McCarthy still on the board, obviously, as well as Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix, I would rather see them pick Michael Penix Jr. or Bo Nix over JJ McCarthy. I just would.
Yeah, I would too. I'd rather see them take Malik Neighbors and get a quarterback, get Bo Nix, trade up another pick to get Bo Nix.
Trade back up into later in the first round and pick that up. But now that's not an impossibility. They do have some capital they can use. Mm-hmm. We got one comment in here from a couple minutes ago. David Burns watching from Cedar Hill, Texas. Cheers,
welcome, Dave.
Thanks for watching. Thank you.
Hey, Dave.
Let us know what your thoughts are on the top 10 spots, or at least
who do you got at 4th? 4th is at least as it stands before any trades. Who's picking? What team is picking 4th?
Cardinals are 4th, right?
Yeah. Cardinals are picking 4th,
and I have the Cardinals getting what I think might be the most impactful player right away in this draft. I got them going with Marvin Harrison Jr.
I also have Marvin Harrison Jr. going 4th to the Cardinals.
Me too.
You do.
Look at that. We're all in agreement.
Look at that. Imagine that. All right.
So I'm sorry, Harry. What do you have happening at number 3?
I got Jaden Daniels at 3. I got Drake May going to the Commanders.
Okay. So we all agree on Caleb Williams. You've got Drake May number 2, Daniels number 3. Johnny, you got Daniels number 2.
I have Daniels number 2 and Drake May number 3. Marvin Harrison 4. Yeah,
4. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the only guy who thinks the Pats are going to be dumb and take JJ McCarthy.
Yeah, I also think you might see the Pats trade to get up 1 pick to make sure they get Jaden McDaniels.
I was thinking they were going to trade down.
Jaden McDaniels is Jaden Daniels' Irish cousin.
No,
I was thinking the Pats might trade down and try and fill some holes and try and build some.
I think the old Pats mentality. I think the old Pats mentality is over.
Right.
I think they're going to go out and get the most dynamic player that they can get, and I also think that I don't think the Patriots are empty. I think they have some talent. I just think they've had really bad skill players over the last 4 or 5 years. Really bad skill players.
They definitely need some help. But look, they took Mac and Cheese, 3-4 years ago? Kid out of
that was a stretch. Oh, he was the last quarterback that was worth anything at that point.
Yeah, but they stuck with.
He obviously didn't get who he wanted. Work.
I'm just for probably up until yesterday, I was thinking, they're going to try and build the team a little bit and look for a quarterback later. And then maybe say, if it's not this year, we got a couple of guys that can just fill in. They got Brissett, and I forget who their other quarterback is. And there'll be somebody else next year that we can draft. But read a couple of things that changed my mind. So I think your theory is right. They're looking for the most dynamic player. I think they're just going to perhaps misjudge who it is.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying I think it's a great pick. but I think that's the way they're going to go. I think Belichick wouldn't have panicked and taken McCarthy, but you're right. He's not there anymore. The old mindset is out the window, and I think they're going to suffer from that. We got to get ours.
And look, I love Belichick, and you know how much I think he's the greatest coach of all time, but he has been pretty horrible in the draft over the last 6-7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, just bad.
Well, listen, he's a systems coach.
So. He is.
There you go.
Yeah.
Systems.
All right.
Harry, who do you have going fifth?
Going fifth, I have Olam Iniwaihu Fashanu. The edge.
Alumawai.
Yeah, Fashanu. Let's just call him Fashanu. I think, he's a defensive tackle, edge, whatever you want to call him. Look, this guy is he's a big dude, 6'6", 312. He runs a 5-second 40-yard dash. He's got a 32-inch vertical leap. I just think he's got everything it takes right now.
He's a defensive tackle and offensive tackle.
Defensive, right? Isn't he?
Is he?
Or offensive tackle?
I thought it was offensive.
Maybe he is offensive.
Still a big guy. Still a big guy.
Offensive tackle. I'm looking at my notes here and getting confused with the note here. Yeah. So I think he's going to be able to come in. He's obviously played at Penn State in a run oriented offense. Also an offense that I think translates pretty well to the NFL. I think it's either going to be him or Joe Alt as one of the top picks, but I think he's a better fit at this position. So
fair enough. You definitely that's definitely a you pick, because the majority of mock drafts out there have him out of the top 10.
I know.
So
I know.
not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. In what
I could be wrong. I'm just taking it.
You're not wrong in what you're saying about
him.
No one is wrong yet.
Right. Take it a chance.
We're all 100% right so far.
Exactly. RadioPete, you're number 5.
I agree with everything that Harry said, except for the name. I think unless Arizona trades out, and if Marvin Harrison Jr. is still on the board, I think the Chargers will take him, but I don't think that's going to happen. So I think it's Joe Alt.
Yeah, and you might be right. I had both of them there. I was kind of going by, who knows? But yeah,
I got you. Fair enough. All right, and just so you're aware, I have at 5. Whatchamacallit? I have whatchamacallit?
I don't know.
Yeah, I have the Chargers taking JJ McCarthy.
Okay,
I do. I know it's a stretch because of who's there, but I don't know that whatchamacallit's married to him. Yeah, sure.
His ex-coach and future coach.
His future coach is married to him.
No.
Herbert.
No. Anyway, so there you go.
Well, look, if he does that, that's so Harbaugh. That's such an arrogant.
100%.
I could come.
That's my point. That's because it is Jim Harbaugh, right? That's why I'm going.
He's not my guy, and I can make it happen with anybody. Now, here's the thing: if they really like McCarthy, whether it's immediately or they think there's some upside to it, there's going to be teams looking for quarterbacks later on. And if Herbert has a good season, then he's going to, you know what I mean? Yep. He's going to be worth some capital. So,
that's the other way to look at it.
I don't think Herbert's there to start the season if they draft McCarthy.
No, he'll start the season.
I think that,
they'll trade him to get out of having to extend him to get other pieces. I think
that's the ultimate goal, but I don't know if they do it right away.
I think they do it right away.
Yeah. I said that's where I was going with that.
It would be more Harbaugh to do it right away.
Mm-hmm. I see them doing that. Yeah, I see them doing that later. It would be more Harbaugh. I'm kind of splitting the difference, right? Splitting the negatives, right? It's totally Harbaugh to go take JJ McCarthy, but I'm backing off because he's not. I don't know how much autonomy he has, right? I think you're going to see Harbaugh start the Harbaugh, Herbert start the season. Or maybe you see Harbaugh start the season. Who knows?
Yeah,
Something. Hey.
Start the season as head coach.
There you go, and then trade him during the season, trade him during the deadline, or even after, or whenever. But when they can. So anyway,
I think the worst part about all this is now I have to stop rooting for the Chargers.
Right.
It's going to be really difficult to root for the Chargers.
I don't know which team has screwed us. I don't know which team over the last 3 or 4 years has screwed us more in our NFL picks, the Chargers or the Texans. I'm not quite sure.
No, Chargers actually. No, Texans have screwed you in a lot of other ways.
Yes.
So
listen,
right.
You should pick them every single game this year.
Well, I used to. I was on them forever, and then they would lose to teams. I know. It's just,
but they made good moves now. They should be better than last.
Well, it all came out to wash because you still won, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's right.
It was the year before that they really crushed me.
They really crushed you, yeah. All right, Radio Pete, who do you have going at 6?
Well, put this under the history repeats itself, perhaps.
Oh yeah, I can't wait.
What position do you think I'm going to tell you the Giants are going to draft?
The Giants are going to draft a quarterback, and I can't wait to hear how bad it is.
No, they're not actually.
All right.
They're going to draft a wide receiver.
I agree with you, actually.
All right, so they're gonna draft Malik Neighbors or Nabors.
I actually agree.
Out of LSU. Okay. All right. I thought you guys.
We can make this one. No.
So John disagrees, Harry.
I don't disagree.
No, I agree.
Oh no. Oh, okay.
We both agree. All three of us have Malik Neighbors going.
I thought you guys would yell and scream because it's number 6 pick.
I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to give you my reasoning. I'm going to tell you
why.
He's
no Kadarius Toney. Is that
not
what
not at all.
That's what we believe. Yeah.
I'm going to give you my reasoning. Here's my reasoning. And I know I'm going to get some brushback from Harry on this, but here's my reasoning. Okay.
Oh,
all right. Number 1. I don't like, I know I said this before, I don't like J.J. McCarthy. And if he ever does become a Giants quarterback and we ever get him on the show or whatever, don't tell him I said that. But anyway,
I'll tell him. If he wins the Super Bowl, I'll tell him I love him.
That's true. Well, that's a different story, right? But in any event, I don't like J.J. McCarthy more so than even, like I said, Michael Penix Jr. or Bo Nix. So I can see the Giants taking Malik Neighbors at 6 and then trading back into later in the first round when Michael Penix Jr. and Bo Nix are available and grabbing one of them.
I'd be fine with that. And you know how much I like both of them. And I honestly think Bo Nix is going to be the next Joe Burrow. That's just that's my take. I'm sticking to it. If the Giants are smart enough to do that, but they haven't done that in years past. They've traded down to get capital so they can make really bad picks and have a really shitty team. Right. So they need to change that. And I'm with you, John. If they could get Malik Neighbors and a Penix, I honestly think J.J. McCarthy might be around at the 7th or 8th pick.
You never know.
There's no guarantee that he's going to go earlier.
You never know.
So I agree.
But once you get past the teams that are higher up that need quarterbacks, right. If there's a team like that's hanging around that really doesn't, any position they draft for is just bonus for them, right? They like the Chiefs and the stuff, and those teams. Yeah, maybe they have a need, but maybe any of their needs are off the board already. If they can find a way to jump back into later in the first round, I do believe that Joe Schoen is going to make that happen. I do believe that's going to happen. However, short of that happening, here's my reasoning still for Malik Neighbors. Other than the fact that I actually like Malik Neighbors better than Marvin Harrison Jr. And I know you're saying that Marvin Harrison Jr. is NFL ready. So is Malik Neighbors to a point. I like his dynamic. I like Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think is his father. He's close.
No, without a doubt.
I think he's his father. But I like Malik Neighbors better. But in any event, I also do like the LSU program too. That's why I like Jaden Daniels, and what they did together, right? But short of that, if none of that other stuff happens, I can see them riding with Daniel Jones and obviously, Drew Lock as his backup, and Tommy Cutlass is still there, but that's besides the point. If all things fall perfectly for Daniel Jones, we know this, right? We know this is fact, right? Look at what happened 2 years ago, right? got to the divisional playoffs, won a playoff game. If all things line up perfectly and the chips fall perfectly for Daniel Jones, he can be a serviceable quarterback. He can hit targets. He can pass the ball well. He can pass for yardage. He can, he has an arm. He can run. We've seen this. As long as he's not getting his ass handed to him on every friggin' play where he's going to get hurt, he can actually do something. So, let me finish. Ride with him, all right? Would you have Drew Lock, obviously, backing him up and whatever. Get Malik Neighbors in and whoever else they get in, right? And then after, later on in the season or after the season is over, if there's a Herbert that what we were talking about before, like Harbaugh's giving him, obviously, trading, obviously it's going to be important or something like that. Yeah. But, or just a quarterback in next year's draft or trade up or whatever you need to do. I just think, I think that, with the moves they made in free agency with the offensive line, some things they did with the defensive line and the defense overall, I just think it actually makes sense that if they're not able to trade back into the higher up in the.
We've had this conversation for 3 years in a row now.
Right. So my point is, it's not the worst thing in the world.
No, I agree with everything you said.
The only quarterback of these three, I don't want Caleb Williams. I don't want JJ McCarthy. I don't really even want Jake May. The only quarterback of those four, and obviously of JJ McCarthy, of those four, that if they were still on the board, I'm not taking Malik Neighbors, is if Jaden Daniels is still on the board. There's no way Jaden Daniels is still on the board at 6.
No. And I agree with everything you said, with the exception of, I think they need to draft. They need to move up and get a Penix or a Nix in the first round, because we know damn well that Daniel Jones will start. That's fine. But they need a solid person that can come into him when he gets hurt. Yeah. And that's just, and then hopefully they can step up and take the starting job from him. That's the only way it's going to happen, because the Giants are going to be stubborn on Daniel Jones until it's just he can no longer play. Now, if the Giants really wanted to prove something, they'd make a big splash. They'd package this number 6 pick, with something else and go up and get a Jaden Daniels. But I don't think that's going to happen.
I don't think they're moving up. I don't think they're moving up. I don't think they're moving down. I don't think they're unless, because here's the thing, right? The Chargers, 1, 2, and 3, Caleb Williams, Drake May, and Daniels are off the board. They're not going to be able to trade up to those. It's going to be the farm to get into one of those 3 spots. So it's almost pointless to do that, and they're not, the only other quarterback that's going to go in 4th or 5th is JJ McCarthy, and I don't think they should be getting him. But they do need a talent at wide receiver. They need a number 1,
of course.
Now Wendell Robinson is no slouch. Jalen Hyatt that they got last year is no slouch. And even if they do re-sign and restructure a contract for Slayton, now you have your wide receiver 1 paired up against whoever, and you have these slot receivers in Hyatt and in Wendell Robertson. Now you have a really good passing attack.
You have an okay. You still have a
really good as compared to what you've had.
Right. You have a big hole because we made some bad moves and overpaid some old players at tight end. And what you said earlier is the point. Will they be able to block? Now, here's the one thing I will say about Daniel Jones. Yes, his offensive line has not been great. But if you look at Daniel Jones, his mechanic, he takes too long to get rid of the ball. Mm-hmm. And in today's NFL, you cannot do that. Now, does he have the ability to scramble? Is he a good? Yeah, of course. He's played in the NFL. Are the Giants going to be successful with Daniel Jones? No, they're not. And I'm sorry. Yes, he won a playoff game. That's great, fantastic. I expect more from the Giants.
Well, let me ask you this, and then we'll get Pete's opinion. Let me ask you this: Malik Neighbors at 6. Now, obviously, the goal is Malik Neighbors at 6, and then Michael Penix Jr. or Bo Nix later in the first round. That's the goal. That's the goal. Short of that, these 2 scenarios: Malik Neighbors at 6 and riding with Daniel Jones this year. I'm not saying what's going to happen next year.
Right.
This year, or JJ McCarthy at 6. Which would you prefer of those 2 scenarios?
Malik Neighbors.
There you go. That's my point. That's all I'm saying.
Yep.
Pete?
All right.
Neighbors.
All right. All right, let's go to 7. Harry, who's your number 7 pick?
I had Joe Alt at number 7.
Just to solidify that, I have Joe Alt at 7 as well. Pete?
Number 7 is... Sorry, hang on. Number 7 is also an offensive tackle. It is J.C. Latham.
You have J.C. Latham. All right, fair enough.
Out of Alabama, going number 7 to the Tennessee.
There you go. Number 8.
Hold on, I got to type. J.C. Latham. There we go. Okay. Let's move on to number 8. I'll just tell you right now. My number 8 is Dallas Turner.
That's just mine.
There you go. Pete?
All right, mine is Laiatu Latu.
Say that 5 times fast.
Edge rusher from UCLA.
Yeah.
Going to the Atlanta Falcons.
Laiatu Latu. Is he from Hawaii?
I hope so. Actually, he's from Cleveland.
Is he?
No, I don't think so. I would assume Hawaii.
I would imagine it's Hawaii, yeah. Cool. And that's
so there we go.
There we go. Cool.
Number 9.
Number 9. Pete, who's your number 9?
I have Dallas Turner going to the Chicago Bears.
You have Dallas Turner at 9. There you go. Harry?
I have the Chicago Bears giving Caleb Williams a little gift in Rome Odunze, the wide receiver. They're gonna have a passing attack.
Yeah. And I agree with you there. Rome Odunze is going to Chicago at 9. There you go. And I think we should let Pete do the number 10 spot, since it is after all his team.
It is the New York Jetterbuckers.
Jetterbuckers. There you go.
Well, listen, the Jets are finally going to spend a little bit of their draft capital on what they should be doing. I don't think they're taking my advice, because I don't think they ever heard what my advice is. But they're going to try and keep Aaron Rodgers upright, because they really don't have anything. Not that they really had much with Zach Wilson, but the whole Zach Wilson, our future, etc. That we all know that's it's obviously out the window. So they're going to take.
He's here now.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no reason to. It's Aaron Rodgers or bust. Right? There's no one waiting in the wings to take over. There's no future Jets quarterback.
Right. So who do you got?
They're going to take an offensive tackle out of Oregon State named Talisi Fuaga.
There you go.
Talisi Fuaga. Talisi Fuaga?
Talisi Fuaga. Isn't that a Harry Potter character?
No. There's no R. It's not goose liver.
Let's hope not. Time will tell.
Fuaga.
Talisi
John,
Fuaga.
Who do you got for the Jets taking?
I have the Jets taking Brock Bowers, the tight end.
So do I. And you know what? I'm going to call this at number 10 the surprise performance of a rookie and somebody who's going to actually battle for Rookie of the Year this year. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to make Brock Bowers Rookie of the Year.
Really? You do?
I do. I think this guy's good.
I like that.
He's a mismatch. And he's tough. And he will help with what Pete's talking about with blocking, because he's more of an old school tight end that can also go out and get the ball. He was a tackle for a number of years. I like it. How wrong will we be?
How wrong will we be?
All right, just real quick.
Did you guys go beyond 10?
No.
Okay.
No. But here, I'm gonna ask a couple questions. Okay. Here, the Broncos pick 12th. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think Sean Payton's going to I think he's going to make the pick.
Here's our picks now.
I think he's going to make the pick of the draft. And I think the Broncos at 12 are going to pick Bo Nix higher than a lot of other people have him. I agree. I think he's going to take Bo Nix, and I think it's going to be the steal of the draft.
I have Drake May going 11.
You have him that low?
Vikings. Wow. Yeah. I have Knicks going to the Broncos at 12, and I have Penix going to the Raiders at 13. That's as far as I went. I went lucky right. 13. So yeah, after out of the first 10, it's the rest of the serviceable to perhaps franchise-saving quarterbacks for me.
Yeah,
and but yeah, I agree with you. I think that's going to be a great pick if he's there, and it will be probably amongst, if not the steal of the draft. I agree with you there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's no Taliesin foie gras.
No, nobody is.
But
it's true. It's
he's
very,
the very,
true.
very best Bo Nix that's right. in the draft. So
it's hard to say somebody. Yeah, I got the shit kicked out of me by Taliesin foie gras.
Yeah, and I would love to see. I don't think it'll happen.
Did you say Tallahassee foie gras?
Tallahassee foie gras. I don't think it'll happen, but I would love to. If that pick happens at number 12, I would love to have a camera on Zach Wilson's face.
Yeah. He's going to be a backup. Does Zach Wilson really think he was brought here to be a starting quarterback? Come on.
I don't know.
Did I see it right? They actually did trade him for a ham sandwich.
No, I think they might have gotten less than a ham sandwich. I don't know what they got.
It was a ham sandwich, but it was it was carried to the team by like a 4th-round pick or something.
I got you. Fair enough.
So
it was left over from 2 seasons ago. Ham sandwich.
Yeah, you get the 168th pick or whatever, but it comes with a ham sandwich too. So.
Comes with a ham sandwich. Gotcha.
And a bag of chips.
And a bag of chips. Yeah. So
there we go. Let's see how wrong we are.
Let's see how wrong we all are. These are our picks. They're on the board there. We'll post them on the Facebook page as well before the draft tomorrow night. We'll see how we all do. I just I don't know. I don't know what to think about the draft. I got to tell you, this draft definitely confuses me more than a lot of others do, or have in the past. Because there can be a lot of trading. There can be teams that were, you're thinking what they need and what they're going to go after and what their top need is. And it's just, I mean, that's true of every year, of course, but this one more so than others are confusing me a bit. But I think I agree with
I think the top 4 are going to be locked in. I don't think they might not be in the exact order I picked them, but I think those top 4 are the top 4.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. And that's why I said the only difference between our top 4 is I have Daniels going second and May going third. You have it the opposite. But let me ask you this, Harry, back to the Giants just for a quick second.
Sure.
I said to you, obviously the best case scenario is Penix and Nix lasting till later in the first round. The Giants able to trade back in and get him, and obviously picking up Malik Neighbors at 6. But let me ask you this: of these 2 scenarios, would you prefer Malik Neighbors at 6 and riding with Daniel Jones this year, or Penix or Nix at 6?
I don't think it'll happen because I think most people just think that that's too high of a choice. Look, if I had to pick between Malik Neighbors or Bo Nix, I'd take a chance on Bo Nix. I'd also take a chance on Michael Penix. I think Nix is a little bit more resilient. His age doesn't bother me. What I like about it is that you got a guy with a lot of college experience who you can have on a rookie contract until he's in his prime. And then, that's how I look at it. I don't think the Giants will do that. However, I would.
I would. So for what we said, you would prefer, of those 2 choices that we just said, you would prefer Penix or Nix at 6 over Malik Neighbors.
I would prefer Nix. I think Penix had a really great, combine or whatever it was. I'm a little less convinced in his durability, and that's the only thing that concerns me with Penix.
Yeah, I like his durability better than Daniel Jones's durability.
Yeah, and look, put it this way. Yes, I'm gonna rephrase it. Yes, I would take either one of those because I think it makes a statement that the New York Giants need to do. I think they need to get a new quarterback, and Malik Neighbors could be great, but I think I don't think Jerry Rice is a great receiver. Jerry Rice would not have the numbers he had with Daniel Jones throwing to him.
No, he wouldn't. Not at all. Now, and that being I said that, do you think that the Giants would be looked at, maybe not so much for Bo Nix, but either of those two, Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr., do you think it would be looked at as if it was another Daniel Jones at 6?
No, not at all.
Last time the Giants picked 6, they picked Daniel Jones.
They picked somebody 6, Daniel Jones, who nobody had going in the first round.
Right.
No, people didn't have Daniel Jones going in the second or third round.
And the Giants had 3 picks in the first round that year.
They could have easily gotten Daniel Jones way later in the draft. No. Unfortunately, they don't have that. Look, in an ideal world, the Giants
this is my point. I'm not comparing Bo Nix and Michael Penix to...
If the Giants had the 6th pick and the 12th pick, okay, then they could get Malik Neighbors and they could get whoever's left out of Penix and Nix, and I would be happy.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have that.
Right, that's where I was going. Like, 2 guys that, they might not make it past 12, but they might make it. Some mock drafts had them going in the second round.
I know.
So that's why I said what I said. Would that be looked at as another Daniel Jones situation where they took somebody that they could have gotten with their first pick in the second round?
It's less. It's not the same because I think there's much more of a variable with Nix and Penix. Like I said, I think Nix is going to the Broncos. So, and I think Penix will go right after him. So I think they're going to have to move up to get one of those 2 guys.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah.
We'll see. We will see. I'm not sure what happened to Pete's camera.
Pete is in privacy mode.
Well,
that's our draft. We'll see how we do. I think last year we did okay.
Last year we did okay. Last year we did.
I think I had 7 out of the top 10 or 8 out of the top 10 in the wrong order, but at least they were there.
I think between the 3 of us, we had most of us. All 3 of us had most of the players in it. You had the most. Like I think, I had 6, Pete had 7, you had 8, or something like that. But of all of us, we had all 10. Right.
Right. I think Harry and I had the same number of players, but he had more in the right order.
Yeah.
So it was because I remember we were debating what was more important.
Gotcha.
So I feel much less confident about this set of predictions.
Really?
Yeah.
I am too. I am as well. I said it before. Like this draft is a little bit more confusing than drafts of the past that we've done. All right. Well, like I said, we'll post these picks on our Facebook page and a website. So they're locked into a time frame, so you can see that we picked these prior to tomorrow night. So we'll look at it. But I got a little impromptu trivia for you.
All right.
Draft trivia. What player was drafted the latest as any pick? As any pick. All right. Not round, pick. That got to the Hall of Fame, that made the Hall of Fame.
I'm sure it's somebody that is it a popular player?
Yeah. Well, it's a popular person.
Okay. They're not playing anymore. They were a coach. John Madden.
Very good. John Madden was drafted in 1958 by the Eagles at 244, the 244th pick overall. It was actually in round 21. All right, and he made the Hall of Fame.
Do we still have 21 rounds?
No, we have 7 rounds.
That's round 21.
21.
Jesus, there's that many football players?
Yeah, the latest.
I think I was picked in round 22.
The latest round of anyone that was picked that went to the Hall of Fame was round 22. It was pick number 232 because there were less players being picked per round at the time. It was in 1953.
Right, on less teams. Yep.
It was 5 years earlier. It was in 1953. And that was Rosie Brown.
Rosie Brown was picked that low, huh?
Wow. Rosie Brown was picked number 232 in round 22 by the Giants in 1953. Yeah.
Downtown Rosie Brown.
Yeah. He had a pretty good career. Yeah, and he was enshrined in 1975. Madden obviously was enshrined in 2006.
Well, there you go.
And he was enshrined as a coach, obviously, not a player. So
there you go. New York Giants, find yourself your next Rosie Brown.
There you go. There you go. And of course, the other one I was going to go with this was the highest player drafted to make a Super Bowl, but we all know who that is because he just did it. Brock Purdy.
Yeah. The lowest player, you mean?
Lowest player drafted.
Yeah.
Highest number, lowest player drafted. Right?
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. I got you.
Yeah, sure. Anyway, all right. Well, there you go. I'm going to leave this up while we do the rest of our show.
While we square dance.
While we square dance, exactly.
What else are we doing? Is there anything else to talk about? I mean, God, it's a draft.
Well, I mean, there's a let's put the particular. Hold on, put the particular graphic up. There are NBA playoffs going on. I figure.
Oh yes, there are. Oh yes, there are, baby.
On them for a second.
Oh yes, there are.
Now you said
I'll be back in 40 minutes when you guys are done.
No. It's quick 5-minute conversation. But I just want to say one thing. I love the dialogue from last night, from Monday night, after the Knicks Game 2 win over the Sixers. Radio Pete said, "Big win for the Knickerbockers. Ugly game though. Foul, 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 foul." And Harry said, "When the Knicks win in the playoffs, it's always ugly. They invented it." I thought that was fun.
Now, just to clarify, what I meant by that was there were lots of fouls going on.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mean just one bad call or anything. And I'm not saying the Knicks won because of that or anything.
Let them play.
I think I think it all kind of evened out in the end there.
Yeah.
It seemed like every time the ball was contested for, or anybody touched it or whatever, they were calling a foul. So I don't know. It really sort of slowed down the pace of the game. But kudos to the Knicks. Big comeback, big time win. And I really honestly got no other than memories of Dr. J, which are not my direct memories, but I got no love for Philly. Fuck them.
Yeah, I mean, it might have been the best double, even though it was a triple header that day, the best two games played back to back, the Knicks and Philly and the Nuggets and Lakers game. It was a great night of basketball. I mean, an absolutely great night of basketball. And it's just so rich to see LeBron James complain about the officiating after he literally shoved somebody to the floor to brick an open jump shot.
Well, and he's complaining about a call that happened like in the first half of the game, not something that happened in the final second. So, like, really, that's, look, we all know the country as a whole, it's just a true statement. Many, many people love the Lakers all around the country. And so the media obviously is going to cover them. You can't talk about basketball without talking about the Lakers every day, no matter what they do. Even if they don't play, you're talking about the Lakers. But I really think that this mystique about them is getting like hammered right now. I mean, look, LeBron and Anthony Davis both had really good games. They brought their A games.
Really good games.
And they were up by 20. And they still lost. They're just not that good.
Mm-hmm.
And the media's going to treat them like they are. It's always going to give them the puncher's chance, because it's a great story, because lots of people love the Lakers. But Denver is probably going to win the championship again.
Well, I'm not sure about that.
Who in the West is going to stop them?
Well, the West is tough.
No. I think their toughest battle will be against probably Boston in the finals. I don't think there's anyone in the West that.
If Boston makes it to the finals, Boston just lost to a Jimmy Butler-less Miami Heat.
Yeah, well, they do that sometimes, but I don't think there's anyone. I'm not going to say that Denver's going to sweep everybody, but I don't see anybody giving them a real run for their money in the West.
They do something that good and sometimes great teams do. They know how to win close games. And look, they've started both these games horrifically. Jamal Murray was doing his best John Starks impersonation until he wasn't.
Oh, yeah. He was 2 for 80, and then all of a sudden he
3
wasn't.
for 13. But same thing. Yeah. I don't know. To answer your question,
20?
I actually think the Lakers are I think Phoenix can give them a run for the money. But the team that scares me, the only team I think that really scares me out of the West against the Nuggets is the Minnesota Timberwolves. They are a good team. They've got Cat back. They're a really good defensive team. I think they could give, and they're gonna. I think they can give the Nuggets a run for the money.
All right. So, tell me who, based on what you've seen so far in the playoffs, at this point. Well, we can reform this in 2 weeks if we want, but based on the playoffs thus far, who's in the Western Conference Championship?
Well, I got to look at how the matchups would work out because I think the two best teams are. I think it's the Nuggets and the Timberwolves. However, I think they might have to play each other before the finals if OKC wins. So, I think it's either going to be OKC versus the Nuggets or the Nuggets versus the Timberwolves.
I'm just looking right now to see if I can.
Minnesota's up to nothing.
Yeah.
Where's the bracket? Where's the bracket?
Well, it's just by rankings. So.
I know.
Yeah, but I don't like I would know what that is.
And look, I mean, big win for Dallas last night. They who knows which Clippers team is going to go. It's going to show up.
So they would potentially meet in the next round.
Yeah,
they would have to play each other in the next round.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be tough.
So it'd be the Thunder, the Pelicans, the Clippers, or the Mavericks.
Yeah,
would be in the one of those teams will be.
And then most likely the lucky thing, even though the Nuggets should have had the number one pick, the Nuggets will have home court advantage against the Timberwolves. But I think if it's the Nuggets and the Timberwolves, that's a 7-game series. It's a toss-up. I honestly believe that.
And so in your mind right now, in your gut, or both, mind or gut, or mutt or gind, whatever, who would you say would be in the?
I think it's going to be either the Nuggets or the Timberwolves. Obviously, that's kind of against the Thunder. I think people are underestimating the Thunder. I think they're going to go.
I don't can underestimate a 1 seed.
Well, they are though, John. They are. People don't have them getting anywhere close to the finals.
I'm not just believing you. I'm saying I don't understand how people can.
The other team that everybody loves because it has a bunch of old stars on it are the Clippers.
Mm-hmm.
You just hear about Stephen A. Smith talk about the Clippers. So
but there's something to be said. I mean, let's see who's on the Thunder, who's old.
No one.
That's the thing. That's I think. Now that doesn't mean they can't advance, but it's tough when you're a young team, right? What do they say about the NBA? Maybe more than any other sports league, you have to. Many teams, not everybody, has to lose heartbreakingly before they can win.
I'm telling you this: they're going to sweep the Pelicans, and they're not losing to the Clippers or the Mavericks. They're going to the conference finals, and they're going to play. I think they might not make it to the NBA finals because I think the winner of the Nuggets Timberwolves. I think they're a better team, but I'm telling you, this Thunder's going to the conference finals.
Fair enough. All right, so let's go to the East. Who's playing in the Eastern Conference Finals?
Boy, who knows? I mean,
by the way, Pete, did you weigh in? Did you weigh in the West?
I'm gonna. Well, obviously, I said I think the Nuggets are going to win the whole thing, so that would mean they would have to win the West.
So you think Nuggets and OKC?
No, I think I'm gonna take the Mavericks.
Really?
I think the Thunder's going to beat the Pelicans. I think Clippers have some great players, but Kawhi is up and down. Kawhi gets healthy and plays all the time, then they could be in the conference finals. Mavericks are kind of finding something. I don't know if they can sustain it or not, but it's almost like they just don't think about all the shit that should be going on, right? All the criticism of Doncic and what he does and what he doesn't do, and all the criticism of Kyrie and he's a nut job. They just whatever. They just go out and they play.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, you might be right.
I think they might be in the conference finals too.
I am going to say that my thing with that is I think Harry's right. Thunder are sweeping the Pelicans.
Yeah, that's a
but
likely.
I think the Mavericks are going to go 7 with the Clippers. And I think that's going to take some out of them. I agree with you that they're finding something, right? But I got a feeling that they're going to be a little too beat up by the time they're playing the, well-rested, great team that is the Thunder. So I think it's I personally think it's going to be the Nuggets, and I agree with Harry that the Timberwolves are scary as far as the Nuggets go, but I think it's going to be what's the word I'm looking for? Experience. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Nuggets. I think you're going to see that in the Western Conference Finals. You can see the Nuggets and the Thunder. That's where I'm
So
going.
Nuggets and Thunder. You guys got Nuggets, Thunder. I got Nuggets, Mavericks.
There you go.
Picking a 5.
To be fair, Harry has
finals.
Nuggets or Timberwolves, Thunder.
Well, it's
not
still early.
Because as a Nuggets fan,
I'm
he's
nervous. These games
very, very nervous.
Terms are killing me. I got to watch the Knicks and the Nuggets this year. It's driving me insane.
Stupid Knicks.
Fucking
actually going somewhere. The
blood
playoff.
pressure is spiking. I got to root for some guy named Hartenstein and Bogdan Bogdanovic. And
you have to call him Hartenstein. It's iHeart.
iHeart. Yeah.
iHeart. That's it.
BOGO. All right, so I'm saying Celtics Knicks in the conference finals.
All right. Harry, what would you say?
Look, this one's tough, and it just proves to me that what I really thought the Sixers would play the Celtics in the finals, and I'm going to stick with that. Do I feel great about that? No. I think the Knicks are good. I think it's going to be really hard. The Sixers team should win, and the only thing is, I just don't think Embiid's all that healthy.
He's not. He's playing on one leg.
Yeah. So
he's shooting from the perimeter every game.
Having said that, I look at the Knicks. If they can get past the Sixers, can they beat the Bucks? Well, if Giannis plays, he's going to be hurt too. I think you're just going to luck is on their side a little bit, and they're playing great basketball. I'm not trying to diminish the Knicks. I think you're right. I think it's going to be Knicks Celtics.
Yeah. I'm with you on that.
I think the Pacers might beat the Bucks.
Yeah, I think you're right.
But that's again where I think the youth and inexperience comes into play, and that's where I think the Knicks will have an edge. And
I think the Celtics are going to go 6 with the Heat, and I think they're going to have trouble with Cleveland. So maybe the Knicks might have an easier path. You never know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling it with the Heat this year.
No, but I'm saying, I'm not saying they're going to beat them, but.
They may go to 6 or 7 games.
They beat Boston. They beat Boston in Boston tonight. They beat Boston in Boston.
Because Boston every now and then needs a slap in the face and to wake them up. So
that's a problem.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll go 7. It might go 6 though.
That's what I said.
But yeah, I think. Look, I think the Celtics will have more trouble with the Cavs than they will with the Heat.
Yeah, I think that Cavs series might go 7. What I'm saying is that the Knicks might get fortunate where. They might get a Boston team in the NBA Finals that has been through a rough playoff round, a couple rough playoff rounds.
And the magic looks lost.
Yeah.
So
all right, there's our picks.
All
right, and all right. So now I guess you got one other question. It's for Harry only.
Oh God.
No. I know what
you're going to ask.
Knock on wood. The finals is the Knicks and the Nuggets. What are you doing?
Look, I loved Ernie Grunfeld and Bernard King. I loved Patrick Ewing, Anthony Mason, and Charles Oakley. Mm-hmm. I love Nikola Jokic. And so I want his legacy. I want him to win multiple championships because I believe this guy is going to go down as being one of the best basketball players to ever play the game. So, yes, I know I'm going to disappoint a lot of people. If the Knicks play the Nuggets, I'm rooting for the Nuggets because I don't have the love for this Knicks team that I do for the Nuggets team. I just don't.
Well, but let me throw this at you. Jokic could still do all those things.
He's got to win a ring.
And still lose to the Knicks this year.
Got to win a ring.
And then you can have wouldn't that be having your cake?
No.
He can win
rings. It's all about rings.
No, but not this year.
Rings.
The Knicks could get one. The team of your childhood who hasn't
all right.
won in
so if you could guarantee me that Jokic and the Nuggets win 4 championships, but the Knicks win this year, I'll take that.
All right, how about 2 more for the Nuggets?
So 3
Not
altogether.
this year, but they win 2 more, and then he's going to be. I mean, he's going to be one of the great players of all time, anyway. But
I want the Knicks to win a championship. I don't want them to do it against the Nuggets because I want to enjoy it.
So you don't want them to win it for what, another 6 years until Jokic is old and crappy, or
next year?
What if the Nuggets go back again?
Yeah, I don't know.
And if you want them to win 4 championships, they're going to go back next year in the year.
Yeah, you might be stuck in a cycle. You might have. They're going to win 4. It's probably going to be 4 in what, 8 years, maybe. So
yeah,
maybe one of those.
Maybe I'll just have. Years. All right. Here's what I'll take.
What a dilemma.
Right, no, here's what I'm going to take. Okay. The Knicks win it this year against the Nuggets. The Nuggets go back next year and win it. The Nuggets then play the Knicks again in 2 years, and the Nuggets win. You got it.
Listen, contrast it with this. How fucking long will I have to wait to see, like, the Nets play the Suns?
Are they still in the
NBA Finals?
Are they still in the league?
I'll be dead before that happens.
Yes.
So you should hope for this and enjoy it, no matter who.
I will. I'm just joking.
You'll enjoy it. Even if the Knicks win, you'll enjoy it a little.
I will enjoy it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll recap what we talked about tonight in 2 weeks, where we stand at that point. Before we go, though, let's really quick talk about the ice. What do we think? What are we thinking with the playoffs so far?
The NHL is so bizarre. By the way, that Avs who the hell Winnipeg game, there was 6 goals scored in the first period. There was, I think, 4 goals scored in the first 3 minutes. It was 7-6, 13 goals. It's just crazy. I don't know what to think. I think the Rangers look good.
Rangers look good. Islanders were sucking it up. Or I don't know. They have like a 3-goal lead or a 2-goal lead. They gave up 3 goals in the last 3 minutes of the game. They're
about to get bounced. The Avalanche had a good bounce back.
No one feels bad for the Capitals, right? Even I'm not a Ranger fan,
and just how good is Florida?
Screw the Capitals. The hell
every year, Florida just turns it on in the playoffs.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I got to be honest with you. I'm a little more worried as a Rangers fan. I'm a little more worried about Carolina than I am about Florida.
Yeah, Carolina looks good.
They're up 2-0. Yeah. And how about those Maple Leafs? At least they got a chance.
They got a chance.
Yeah, they're going to go out with Boston. They're going to go out with slightly more dignity than usual, perhaps.
They are down 2-1, aren't they?
Yeah. Here's my question to you guys. Let me find my little thing here. The Boston Bruins. Mm-hmm. Remember the Boston Bruins last year?
Yep.
Yeah.
Best regular season in the history, and then they went out in the first round of the playoffs. Mm-hmm. What I'm hearing from some people is last year they and this year too, they've had alternating goalies.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremy Swayman and who's the other guy? Olmark is his last name.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't know his first name. So they had the alternating goalies last year. For the regular season, it was the best ever. Then they went to the playoffs. They stopped the alternating goalies, and they got bounced first round.
Mm-hmm.
This year, they head into the playoffs. Swayman gets the start in game 1 and gets a win and plays great. They bring in Ulrich in game 2, who plays pretty well, but they lose game 2. Instead of keeping the hot... Don't we always talk about a hot goaltender?
Got to keep him on the heater.
Or make or break a hockey team.
Yeah.
So my question to you guys is, what do the Bruins do? Now they're what? They're up. They were up, I think, before in game 3, but
they won 4-2.
They won 4-2. Okay.
Yeah.
So don't you just leave Swayman in the goal now until he fails?
Absolutely. You play your best player.
With the hot goalie. Yeah. But now here's the thing: whoever the Bruins coach is, I forget. He said the other day, like they went back to the alternating system because and there was never a question that they were going to do it. And they made the decision like a week before the playoffs started. which to me seems insane. Why you wouldn't even consider keeping the hot goaltender in the goal?
We'll see if they alternate again and Toronto comes back to tie the series. You might have some problems. I don't know.
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive to me. Considering it worked so well in the regular season last year, and then they bombed out in the playoffs, and if that happens again this year, boy, you gotta question the mentality of the
well, men. They don't have the President's Trophy. Is that what it is, hanging over their head? So the Rangers do.
Maybe.
So, but the Rangers look good. I think the Rangers are on their way to the finals.
They might be.
They look good.
I'm hoping so. I agree. I mean, obviously, I agree, but like I said, it's gonna be a tough road past Carolina, and I think obviously the final is going to be Florida. But hey, you know what? How awesome would it be for it to be a Knicks Nuggets NBA championship and a
Rangers
Avalanche championship?
That'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
Especially for this show.
It'd be better if it was it'd be better if it was an Islanders Avalanche, but
I don't think it's going to happen. But
no, I don't think so.
All I'm looking at is this. This is what I'm looking at. Right? Hear me out. There's so many things that are aching back to like 30 years ago. So 1994. So it's 1994 all over again. People are talking about it, whatever, right? But I hope sports-wise that the same thing happens again this year, except what happened to Harry? There you go. Except the Knicks win, not lose in Game 7. But then again, John Starks is not on the team, so there's a little bit better of a chance there. So,
well, hopefully Jalen Brunson won't continue to do his impersonation of John Starks. But they won despite that.
They won despite it.
If he turns it on, it's going to be crushing. And look, again, I'll just say this: how long do I have to wait for the Devils and the Sharks right to play for the Stanley Cup championship after my death?
Yeah. Anyway,
all right. One other thing from hockey. I know this is the draft show, but I always have my things.
You always have your things.
We do have for real, and do have a nice over/under. So let's put those in. But since we're talking about hockey, I just wanted to heard this today. Lindy Ruff, Buffalo Sabres coach, rehired now, 11 years after getting the axe, and 11 years after having a lot of success with the Sabres. The Sabres of old, much more successful than they were now. He's, in fact, the winningest coach in franchise history. Took them to the playoffs 7 or 8 times, went to the conference finals a couple of times, and a Stanley Cup final they did not win, but they lost. So he has been rehired as the Sabres coach, and 64 years old now. He was 37 when they first hired him, and good luck to him. Be nice to see the Sabres be something other than a laughing stock.
Absolutely.
So Harry's going.
Yeah, so he froze for a second. He'll be back in a second.
But, yeah. So hopefully he'll have some success, and because I mean, look, growing up, I was not a hockey fan. Growing up in the Mid-Hudson Valley, I just wasn't a hockey fan. We didn't really play hockey. There were no youth hockey leagues, there were, but they were across the river, not where I grew up.
Right.
And most of my friends were Ranger fans. We were Ranger country. I didn't even know who the Islanders were. But when I was in high school, the Devils moved to Jersey. And so I said, I'll become a Devils fan. Mm-hmm. So, but I'm
from Colorado.
I feel more of a connection to Buffalo than I do to New Jersey. So, I don't think I'll ever displace the Devils as my favorite team with the Sabres, but I would like to see the Sabres, if for no other reason than to kick the shit out of the Rangers and the Islanders, because I really don't like either one of them.
There you go.
And so, which I don't tell people because I live on Long Island. So,
yeah, you might not want to say anything to anybody else.
No, if we're out and about and people are, they're fucking Rangers, I go, yeah, man, it's fucking Rangers. I just gotta try and blend in with the crowd. But,
that's all.
So there's that going on.
So you got that going for you.
Yeah.
There you go.
Which is nice.
Another hockey note while we wait for Harry to log back in here. Whatchamacallit? The Arizona Coyotes. That were formerly the Winnipeg Jets, the first Winnipeg Jets. Now the current Winnipeg Jets are an expansion team, but the Arizona Coyotes are moving to Salt Lake City. Okay, and there's been a couple of they're trying to figure out. I saw a reel earlier today what the team name could be, and I saw a couple of interesting ones. I'm not going to say them on the show, but I thought they were interesting. But in any event, what was the one? I forget.
They're going to play in like a 5,000 seat arena or something like that.
Something small, yeah. Something small. Yeah. But here's the thing, though, right? Obviously, something's going on with Harry's computer here. He's trying to get back on and he can't. But here's the thing: Arizona did have a decent amount of attendees at games for Arizona. For a hockey team in Arizona, right? It wasn't necessarily for compared to
it was terrible attendance for a lot of other places. But not necessarily for Arizona.
For Arizona, it was decent, but obviously they want more. So my point being is, if it is indeed, and we're exaggerating a little bit with the 5,000 seat arena, obviously, but if it is a smaller attendance arena, is it just for looks on the on TV? Because they had to, if it is indeed something really small like that, they had to been getting somewhat close to that in Arizona, you would think. It's not like nobody was going to the games at all, but what are you going to do?
I wonder if they're figuring, I don't know, maybe they'll get enough people to make it a hot ticket if it's a smaller arena.
I guess maybe they're hoping to get, Salt Lake City, right? There's a lot of, it's Utah, right? So there's a lot of skiing, there's a lot of winter sports and everything else. So I guess they're hoping to piggyback on that. Plus, obviously, Jazz fans. There's not the Jazz is the only other team in Utah, right? So other than sports,
Utah University or Utah State or whatever.
It's Brigham Young.
Brigham Young, right? But Utah has a
university, yeah.
So,
but as far as pro sports goes, you just got the Jazz. That was one of the teams. They said since Utah stole the Jazz from New Orleans, they should call the hockey team the Jambalaya.
Oh, okay.
Right. There were funnier ones that I'm not saying on the show.
I'd be more likely to go see a team called the Jambalaya. But see now, listen, I would imagine this isn't as true, or maybe it's not true anymore as it used to be, or maybe not. Maybe it was never true. But what I would hear about Salt Lake City is they roll up the sidewalks at 8 o'clock.
I just texted you.
So
ignore it.
So it's a place that shuts down at night.
Right. Oh, it is.
So,
it is.
Yeah. So why would you want to go there?
You guys still aren't done, Jesus.
We held the hockey conversation out for you. So talked about the Arizona Coyotes moving to Salt Lake City. So anyway, all right. So we'll.
They could name themselves after an indigenous fish, but I don't think anything like there's brine shrimp in the Great Salt Lake. But that's about it, right?
The
Salt Lake City Brinies,
Sister Wives.
That was one of the team names I wasn't going to mention on the show, but
I don't know. I'm sure they'll find something. The Salt Licks, the Salt
Licks.
Or
how about the evaporators? The lake is getting lower and lower.
I don't know about that. The evaporators sounds like
an 80s alternative band.
Oh, it sounds like a movie that what's his name would do. Who's the guy who did Blazing Saddles? It sounds like a Mel Brooks.
Mel Brooks.
The Evaporators.
A Mel Brooks hockey team. The Evaporators.
All right. Do you want to do an over under or an are they for real?
Let's do
Or
both.
both?
Let's do both. Let's do are they for real? Let's
Do a little are they for
let's
real?
kick it off.
It's a short one, but
What is real?
What is real?
We sort of
How
have
do you
to
define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain.
Pretty sure none of that's real.
You're not real.
For real, for real, for real. Yeah.
Are you for real? For real? For real? For real?
Are they for real?
What is real?
All right. So Austin Matthews didn't quite get to 70 goals.
No.
He got
But
to
we're gonna-
It's the only time that 69 was disappointing.
Yeah, we're disappointed. Yeah. Thank you. But he got close, and we're gonna pretend he did for the sake of this question.
All right.
But we did get to see something else this season, which has not happened very often.
I know.
Rangers
what that
winning
is.
a President's Trophy.
I know what that is. 2
We had not one but 2
100-point scorers.
100
Assists. 100
assists.
points. Yeah, 100 assists. Yeah.
Now here's right, and it was Connor McDavid, who we know is great, of Edmonton, and Nikita Kucherov of Tampa Bay, who is many people thinking one of the most underrated, if not the most underrated player in the league.
I think it's between him and McKinnon for MVP.
Could be.
Yeah.
So here's my question. Let's say Austin had gotten 70, which I think 7 or 8 other guys have done in history, which include Wayne Gretzky, Brett Hull, Mario Lemieux. This is 70 or more. McGillney, Esposito, Teemu Selanne, the best sports name in the history of sports name, in my opinion. And Yari Curry. And then you got Lemieux, Brett, Hull had 86 and 70, and Bernie Nichols is sort of the odd man out. Not that he was a slouch, but sort of the name that you go, oh, I didn't know that. So they're all guys who had 70 or more in a regular season. 100 or more assists in a season. I'm going to include Lemieux, who had 98. We'll put him on the list too. But it's Lemieux and Gretzky.
Yeah.
Gretzky did it like 9 or 10 times.
Sure.
And Lemieux did it once. He had 98 once, and Bobby Orr had 102 once. So what's more for real? If Kutcher had gotten 70, that milestone, or McDavid and Kucherov getting on that list with 3 of, like, if you name the top 5 players in hockey history, those 3 names, Lemieux, Orr, and Gretzky, are going to be on that list too. So the assists, is that more for real, or is it the fact that McGregor, but again, we're going to pretend he got 70, was putting the puck in the back of the old onion bag there? I think more for real. Goals or the 100 assists?
100 assists, but are you saying is it more for real that 2 got 100, or just the assists in general, the 100 assists in general? Because if you're talking the 2,
what's more for real? Getting 100 assists, which 2 guys did, or getting 70 goals, which again,
I think they're both equal and hard to do. What I'm going to say is 2 guys in one season, within one game of each other, getting 100 assists. That's more unreal. So the 69 goals or getting close to the 70 was more real. And there have been people that have come close to that. But I'm going to say they're both pretty. Are they an indicator of the future? Maybe, but I just think all 3 are pretty amazing seasons.
Yeah. I would have to say that I would have to just wrap it up by saying that it's all for real. It's you know what. What's more, I mean, basically the question is what's more tough to do, right? What's harder to achieve? And I would say probably the goals.
I think the goals has a greater impact on
because you're getting 70 goals yourself. You can assist 4 other players for those 100. So I think the goals, the 70 in and of itself is a harder thing to achieve. But I think the fact that 2 guys got 100 assists this year, that's crazy.
And there's so few that have done it before, I mean, those are all-time greats.
Right,
Those are your top. Those are whose top three are not in whatever order they put them, or Lemieux and Gretzky.
Right. And
who else?
You're talking about three all-time did it. I know.
Yeah,
I know Gretzky
right.
did it 9 times, but 3 all-time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And
There's
2
only
guys did it this year.
Right, only 3 other guys that had 100,
right.
And they're all 3, the top greatest players. And so I don't know. I kind of lean towards the assists.
Right.
It is. Here's a curve.
The goals carries a little bit more weight because they're goals.
Right. Here's a curveball I'm going to throw in there, and I think I don't think this is going to happen because I think those achievements are going to sway people's votes in the MVP. But Nathan MacKinnon had 140 points. Okay, he didn't have 100 assists, but he had 89, and he didn't have 70 goals, but he had 51, and his plus minus is 35, while Nikita Kucherov's is 8. So, I think for me, it's between McKinnon and Connor McDavid, who had 132 points, who had the 100 assists, but also had, I'm sorry, it's between Kucherov and McKinnon for me.
Yeah, Kucherov had 144 points.
Just because they both had over 140 points.
Right.
Yeah. And so is 100 assists and 44 goals with a plus minus of 8 more or less reflecting of your team than having 51 goals and 89 assists? I don't know. I just think that
that's a tough call.
The other thing I'm going to say is, by the way, Sidney Crosby, okay, who I don't know how old he is now, had 94 points this year.
Yeah.
It's just
I think if you're a hockey fan, listen, you might be the fan of a team that absolutely hates the Penguins, which is not just the Rangers and the Islanders and the Capitals, but there's a lot of people. Man, I think we're going to miss Sidney Crosby when he retires.
I agree. Boy,
where do you put him on the list of all-time greats? I know he's not done yet. We wait till
how do you even pick the all-time greats of the Penguins? It's hard.
Right. Yeah. Well, again, best name, Teemu Selanne.
Right.
Teemu Selanne.
Mikko Rantanen is pretty good too.
Yeah, that's too. Anyway, so
I don't know. Artemi Panarin is pretty good too.
Yeah. So anyway, so you both of you listeners out there, you can decide what's more for real.
There you go.
How many goals or 100 assists?
Both.
All right.
Both should be applauded, but it is still a communist sport.
They should. Yeah, definitely. And again, this is one of those things where I feel fortunate as a sports fan, even though I'm not a big hockey fan. Did watch some hockey this year. When something like the greater that never happened before happens, whether it's your team or not, you should be appreciative of it.
Absolutely.
So, because it's history happening right in front of you.
It's right in front of you.
All right, how about a little over/under?
Let's do the over/under. Right, that's it for
over/under.
Let's do the fade the music out there.
Fantastic. We got out in less than 10 minutes. How about that?
Look at that. Imagine that.
All right, clear your screen so there's no cheating. And Harry, I want you to forget everything you were talking about I don't know, an hour and a half ago.
Okay.
Forget everything you ever learned about anything.
Forget everything we said about Sam Bradford Darnold. No, okay. Sam Bradford. We're going to talk about Sam Bradford and his stats. We're going to do a little over/under for his career stats.
Oh, God.
So let's go with let's go with the usual. Over/under games played as the QB of record.
Mm-hmm.
What year was he drafted again?
2011.
It's been a while. And he's still active, right? Bradford, is he still?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
No,
who am I thinking of?
Sam Darnold?
Maybe Sam Darnold. There you go.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He was first overall and he was rookie of the year, right? When he was drafted.
He was, yes.
Yeah. All right. So QB of record, over/under 82 and a half games. This is quarterback of record.
Over.
I'm going over. It's got to be over. It's got to be over that.
It's 83, actually.
Wow.
I told you it had to be over.
So very good, guys. Very good. All right. Total yards. Over under 21,238 and a half.
So 83 games and 21,000. What did you say? 22,000?
21,280. 200 something and a half.
21,000. What's 21,000?
21,000. What did I say?
Divided by 83.
246 and a half. 21,246.
46 and a half. I'm going under.
Yeah, I think I'm going to go under too. I'm trying to do the math. It seems like way too much yards for him. Yeah, I'm going to go under.
It's a little bit. His total yards 19,449.
All right. What does that turn out to yards? Or unless that's another question. What's the yards per game?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me see.
I'm trying to do the math. Carry the one.
Let me get my calculator out. How much did you say it was, Pete?
19,449.
19,449 divided by 83. It's 234 yards a game.
234 yards a game. All right. That's
respectable. It's respectable.
Yeah. Respectable. All right. Touchdowns. Over under 99 and a half.
83 games, 99 and a half. So that would be a little like 1.1, 1.2 touchdowns a game. It's going to be close. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll go over.
Yeah, I was just to make it interesting, I was gonna go opposite of whatever Harry said, but I think it's gonna be over too. But
it is over. You're both right. 103. Not by much.
I was just gonna say screw it. I'll go under anyway. But
a lot lower than I thought. Okay.
103. Yeah. All right. Interceptions. Over under.
Oh God.
64 and a half.
Oh geez. Seems low.
83 games, so that's 0.75 interceptions per game.
103 touchdowns.
84, is that what you said?
83, 64 and a half.
83 games.
83 games.
64 and a half.
INTs.
I don't know. I'll let John choose first.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
83 games, 64 and a half INTs.
Yep.
My gut's telling me to go over, but I'm going to go under.
I'm going to go under too. I don't remember him being a super high interception guy. And I also think that, like, of those 83 games, did he play full games? Were they scattered kind of as backup roles?
83 starts.
83 starts.
I'll go over just to mix it up.
All right, Johnny got this right. 61. 103 touchdowns and 61 interceptions.
Yeah.
All right, let's go for attempts.
Attempts.
83 games. Over under 2,891 and a half. 2,891 and a half.
2,891. I'm gonna do the calculator. Like
2,891 attempts.
91 divided by 83.
That
games.
seems a little low. I'm going to guess
it's almost 35 attempts a game.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Now remember, he played for St. Louis.
That's right.
2010 through 2013, Philly for a year, and then a couple years in Minnesota, where, let's see, 2016 was his last year as a full-time starter. 17 and 18, he played like 2 games each.
I mean, if he's playing in the passing generation, I'm going to go over. Not by a lot. I'm going to say 31-50. I'm going to go over.
I'm going to go under. I think it's 34, 35 attempts. At 35 attempts, and that's also with 2 games or 3 games, or 4 games rather, in 2 years. So yeah, I'll go under.
All right. Harry is correct. It is, in fact, an over, but a little bit less. It actually was 2,967.
Nice. Okay.
So about 70 more than the number I gave you. All right. Let's do completions.
Completions.
So we're looking at 2,967 attempts and completions. This might make the next one very easy. Completions, let's go 1,902 and a half. 2,967.
What would that be? About
1902 and a half.
64, 65 completion. I think it'll be under.
What was the number?
1,902.5.
I got to go under on that one. Yeah.
You're both right. It's 1,855. All right. So now you each have 2 seconds to answer. Completion percentage, over or under 61.5?
Over.
Yeah, 62.5.
His numbers are good.
Yeah, they're not terrible.
You didn't want us doing math.
Well, I figured if I didn't want to do the completion I probably should have done the completion percentage first.
Yeah.
But then you would have figured it out either way. You would have been able to figure it out either way. All right. How about career QB rating?
I don't even know what that. What's a good QBR? I forget what that is.
Oh wait, they don't even have a QB. Wait, they don't even have a career QBR for him. What is this?
Or the rating?
Oh,
what's the difference between QBR and just your quarterback rating?
I don't know. He has a QBR for each year, but not for his career. So maybe there's calculated since 2006. I don't know. All right. Well, we can do his passer rating. Minimum 1,500 pass attempts to qualify as career leader. Minimum 150 pass attempts per play. Okay, so passer rating, career passer rating. Over under 82.5.
You go first, Harry.
I'm going to continue to go over to give him credit where I don't think he had it. I'm going to go over.
What was the number, Pete?
82.5.
82.5. Well, it depends on a lot of this. That was just passer rating. It's close to that. It's got to be. I'll go under. If he's going over, I'll go under.
All right.
It's got to be right around there. So
yeah, it's 84.5.
Again, pretty good.
Yeah, not bad. All right. Last one, which I think this could probably be the last one. This horse is just about dead.
Yeah, thank God.
Number of sacks. Let's go 200 and a half.
How many seasons did he play?
Let's see. 2010.
83 games. 83 games. So
83 games. Yeah.
83 games.
83 games.
So 2 a game would be like 160. 2.5 a game would be like
200. Yeah.
200. That's a lot. What is the over under on this?
200 and a half.
It's got to be right around there.
That's a lot. I'm going to go under.
It doesn't seem like a lot. I mean, Daniel Jones was sacked like 8 times a game last year.
That's true. Man, maybe it is right around there. I'm still going to say under, although I might be wrong, but I'll go under.
No, he's been spot on every time. I think he missed one, and I missed about 2 or 3 already. It's got to be right around there, but I'm going to go with him. I'm going to go under.
Yeah, it's 196.
So it is almost exactly.
Good. John, I think you got one that Harry didn't get, and I think you got a couple that. There was one you just went opposite, but I think you legitimately had like two different. I
think I got one he didn't get, and he got 2 I didn't get.
So pretty good.
I don't remember.
Pretty good.
I think I missed more than one.
All right, cool. That's the over/under. Sam Bradford.
Cool. Sam Bradford, better than I remember.
Yeah,
he was. He was pretty good on the Rams. Was it not the Rams? Well, yeah, the Rams. Right?
Rams.
Yeah,
St. Louis. Yeah, but St. Louis. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean let's see, 2010, 7 and 9.
So Stafford was right after him then, huh?
Yeah, 2011, 1 and 9.
Not Stafford. Who was the Goff was right after him, right?
No. Yeah.
2019, yeah.
No, well, Goff was on from 2016, I think. So.
Yeah. So they went right from
so 20
Bradford to Goff, and then
so he played from 2010, 2016, 16 starts, 10 starts, 16 starts, 2013, 7 starts, 14 and 15, and then 2017 and 18 he played.
Did he play for the Eagles?
Well, started. Yeah.
1 year.
2016 he went to Minnesota, had 15 starts. 2015 was his last year with 2013 his last year with St. Louis. Then to Philly for a year, he had 14 starts. 2016 to Minnesota, 15. And 2017, 2 starts with Minnie, and then 2018 he went to Arizona.
He missed the 2015 season. Is what
year? What year did the Eagles win the Super Bowl against the Patriots?
2018.
Okay, so he was almost there for that.
Well, no, he was 3 years removed. No, he was only on the Eagles for 2015.
Oh, that's right. He was on the Vikings for long.
He missed the 2014 season.
He was Kirk Cousins before Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Yeah, started 14 games for Philly in 2015.
Okay.
But he was never on a winning team. Well, he never had a winning record with anybody.
No.
7 and 9, 1 and 9, 7 and 8, 3 and 4, 7 and 7, 7 and 8, 2 and 0 with Minnesota, but only 2 starts, and then 0 and 3 with Arizona in 2018. So,
and this is why
not a terrible quarterback.
This is why JJ McCarthy would tell you it doesn't matter about the stats; it matters about the wins.
Yeah, but yeah, I think he's definitely one of those guys who had a better numbers than you might expect.
What pick was he in the draft?
Number 1.
He was number 1 overall, right?
He was first overall, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So by my assessment, he's a bust.
Yeah, by my assessment, he's like really way better than Daniel Jones.
He was serviceable. Listen, he's no Brian Tannehill.
No,
and he's no Sam Darnold.
Ryan Leaf.
And he's definitely.
But who is Ryan Leaf?
Yeah, what is Ryan Leaf up to these days?
Ryan Leaf is actually occasionally on. He's actually, what's that?
I thought he's coaching somewhere, right?
He's coaching somewhere, and then he's also he's on Good Morning Football occasionally.
Only you watch Good Morning
Football.
Still
watching that, huh?
It hasn't been on the last couple of weeks, as a matter of fact. But I do watch it. Yeah, I watch it. I do. Let's see something here.
Listen, I can't even watch Get Up anymore.
No.
Listen, I love Mike Greenberg on the radio. Right. I didn't love Mike and Mike. They were okay, but I don't know if he still does it because I don't listen to the radio anymore generally. But he's got Mike Greenberg had like 2 hours, like 1 to 3 in the afternoon,
right.
And I loved him. Man. He was great, but he got on Get Up and like they made him so like he stopped shaving. He always had stubble and like was wearing.
Get Up is better than First Take. I'll tell you that much.
It is, but not like the other. Like this was whatever.
Yeah.
This was back during the season. Like I was flipping through and it was on. So I'm like, oh, let me see what they're talking about. And like they were doing the who got pancaked segment where, and like Jeff Saturday's running around throwing pancakes.
Right.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I get it.
Like, just like I don't think I've watched.
We're getting old. We're getting old. We're not the demographic.
Well, I mean, it's ridiculous.
I just want
to have 4 guys yelling at the same time.
I just want 4 hours apart in the interruption. That's all I want. They're the only ones I can stand watching.
On that note, I just looking this up because I was pretty confident. I just wanted to double check it. The head coach of the St. Louis Rams that drafted Sam Bradford was Steve Spagnuolo.
Oh, of course.
Yeah, didn't do anything with him, which is why he left. He was the coach only 3 years. He left after 2011, but Sam Bradford was out in the 2014 season.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, is that it?
I think it is. I think we are done.
Please. So
no, Lindy Ruff, Sam Bradford, the Bruins alternating goalies, and the for real. That's all I had.
There you go.
That's my entire list of stupid shit.
Harry, that is Pete's list of stupid shit.
Stupid shit.
That's a first. That is a first getting through everything.
Pete's list of stupid shit. Hold on, that's got to be an open.
Actually, I love those stupid shit. We should. Well, the stupid shit is the memes. This is the back end of. We begin and end with a stupid shit sandwich.
Pete's exactly. Pete's list of stupid shit.
Yeah.
We put the meat in between.
It's like Ernie's Nito stat of the night or stat of the game.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, all right.
Stat of the day. Bop bop.
Harry, any information you want to give anybody? Any upcoming shows? We don't have any upcoming shows, but like us at our Instagram page at Log Noise. We're going to be starting a Kickstarter to get some vinyl albums pressed.
Nice.
And you can get a good deal on some pre-orders. We've got some new merch. And let's go Knicks and Nuggets, baby.
There you go. Go for it. All right.
Make sure you send an album to Jack White. He loves vinyl.
I will.
Send a self-addressed stamped envelope too.
And even though we didn't talk about baseball, I just want to say one thing to my friends. The Mets look good, baby. The Mets look good.
They look better today than they did the last couple of days. I'll tell you that, but
they're looking all right.
Look, considering where they started and where they are now,
absolutely, baby.
But they'll never win anything.
They've won 7 out of their last 10.
I got a couple of interesting things to talk about the Doc Gooden, jersey retirement last Sunday. But I'll save that for the next show because we didn't talk about baseball today, so I'll keep it. It's just some quips. It's not timely. It's fine. It can go for there, so we'll do it then. But yeah, you're right. They are. So cool. All right. On that note, I say we wrap the show for today. What do you think?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Wrap it.
We'll wrap it up. Thank everybody for watching. And for those of you just listening to the audio podcast, thank you for listening. Don't forget to visit our website, www.getonwithitpodcast.com. That's getonwithitpodcast.com. And please remember, like us and follow us on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just search for the Get On With It podcast. And of course, all of our shows are available on YouTube as well on the Logger Room channel. Remember, we go live with the video podcast on Facebook, YouTube, X, which was formerly Twitter, and Twitch every other Wednesday around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And for those of you who just want to listen to the audio podcast, you can do so on our audio host, Spreaker, once it gets reconnected, as well as iHeart. Now it'll be soon. We apologize for that; it bounced back, so there's some connectivity issues, but it should be up and running in the next couple of days. But anyway,
they spelled the word speaker wrong, so how good can they be?
I know, right? Anyway, but you can also catch it on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, Audible, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music Podcast, TuneIn, Podcast Addict, CastBox, Deezer, Podchaser, Rephonic, pretty much anywhere you can find audio podcasts, you'll find the Get On With It Sports Podcast. And of course, if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to one or more of those feeds and you'll never miss a show. Again, thanks for following along with us. Have a great rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. Keep watching the NBA playoffs and the Stanley Cup playoffs. And we'll talk to you in a couple weeks, folks. Take care. Cheers.
Bye, everybody.